going on, good guys? Chris Newton here, chrisnewton.com. Like, comment, subscribe. We are here with another reaction video, right? You know what? I said I'm going to change this channel. Not really change the channel, but I'm going to kind of alter my approach with this channel because I see that YouTube is pushing the reaction videos more so than the educational videos. I wonder why. Right? When I'm talking about elevating and when I'm talking about real stuff, it's not pushing at all. I get 5 views, 7 views, but I do a reaction video to some negative 500, 600 views. So let's push this, and hopefully you guys won't just stop at the, oh my gosh, this is so wrong, and you guys will actually start digging into the channel and seeing the game that I'm putting. I'm basically breaking the code for everybody. I'm breaking the code, like, not code switching, but I'm breaking the code so everybody can actually know and honestly know how to get into the game, how to make money, how real estate really works, the ins and outs of it. So let's use the reactions to kind of push the other stuff and really learn about things. So this is my first time watching this. This is a live video with you guys. Live reaction. Never seen before. Yo, YouTube be bugging. I know I don't have premium, whichever.
Well, it's an exclusive story you will see only on Fox 5. A NYC apartment flooded with sewage, leaving behind a disgusting mess for the woman who calls the space home. Welcome back to the 10 o'clock news. I'm Steve Lacey.
And I'm Natasha Verma. A sewage pipe burst once and then a second after being fixed. And the tenant says it has left the space unlivable.
Okay, Fox 5's Kendall Green was there when the bathroom started filling with sewage yet again.
Longtime nurse, mom, and NYC resident Gloria Castillo has worked hard to make her Bronx apartment feel as warm and welcoming as any home should. But Friday,
I noticed there was water coming through the hallway, and I asked my son, I said, where's that water coming from?
that was just a leak.
This is crazy. This is crazy. NYC, y'all be doing us dirty. Like, so for those who aren't in New York, NYC, this is basically like who runs the projects, New York City Housing Authority, and it's for lower income individuals, right? And for the most part, they like, so what happened with the projects, right? I actually should make this a different kind of video, or I should make another video for this. But what happened in the projects was literally a project, right? And what they would do is they would put a bunch of, I guess, underserved individuals, right? And put them in a certain section of an area. So let's take Brownsville for example. So they would take a whole bunch of people that wasn't making a lot of money, that was in poverty, and they would put them all here to kind of clean up the outskirts or the outer parts of Brooklyn. They would put them here, centralize them here. And it was a project to see exactly if it would make the borough or the place better, right? So that was the idea. So it was literally a project, and then they kind of, and it wasn't always just black and Spanish people, not at all. So the Italians actually used to run Brownsville, right? And then when the blacks started getting into Brownsville, going into Brownsville, then it kind of like spread out because it was like, we don't want to be around them. So that's what was going on. So now you have a bunch of underserved minorities, right? You'll still have some white people there too, but for the most part, you have some underserved minorities that's in these buildings. So now New York City Housing Authority takes over. They're basically the big management company of the projects in New York. They don't take care of these buildings for the most part. You have piss in the hallways, you have pissy hallways, you have, fecal excrements in the hallways. It's always dirty, it always stinks. When they do paint the stairs or paint them gritty hallways, It looks crazy. They never fix these apartments up for the most part. If a toilet is messed up, they take weeks to fix. Like it is crazy. It is crazy. So I'm sorry, I had to go off on a tangent.
Before the evening's flood that made her living conditions unbearable, she recorded as water and sewage from a combined 21 floors above came flooding into her apartment on the second floor, leaving an unbelievable odor and damage she can't undo herself. Her apartment now, she says, is the last place she and her son want to lay their heads.
That is crazy. That is crazy. So, as I said, right, they don't fix nothing really in these apartments, right? And I don't care if it's you don't pay market rent, because the whole purpose of you guys putting underserved minorities for the most part into these buildings and into these apartments is because they don't make a lot of money. So you guys subsidize it. So it's not free market rent to people that can afford 40 times the rent, but you still have to make, there's still some requirements, right? There's still some qualifications. So it's not free market rent, but it's market rent for the projects, right? You guys, this is what I don't like about people in their contracts and so on and so forth. You guys agree to this, right? You guys, whether it's the government, whether it's people just in the city, whatever, right? Whoever even made this whole project thing up, you guys made it to where we're going to make the rents cheaper. We're going to subsidize it. We're going to make it to where, whatever money you make, we're just going to make a percentage off that. That's what you guys decided to do, and now you have tenants in there abiding by that. So if they don't make any money, they don't pay any rent. If they make $200 a month, their rent is basically zero. If they make $1,000 a month, their rent is probably $200. So on and so forth, right? But I don't want to hear that, oh, well, there's no money because you're not paying the rent. You guys are getting help from the government to now offset that. The government is also paying you guys, right? So if market rent for a 200-bedroom is $2,000 for an example, and your rent is $300, you guys are getting the other $1,700 from the government. Correct me if I'm wrong. Put it in the comment section, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. You guys are getting the other money. So there's no reason why stuff like this should be happening, because this is crazy. This is crazy. And I don't know what's happening, right? So if this is from sewage, this is crazy. This is crazy. If this is from sewage, if this is from the walls, because you got bugs. We're in New York. You got bugs in the wall. You don't know what kind of bugs is that. Like, oh my gosh.
Castillo tells Fox 5 her initial calls from help went unanswered from NYCHA reps for 14 hours before anyone showed up, and when they finally did,
They snaked down the tub, water drained out, they left, but nothing else was done.
This is what I said before. You know what? This is what I said before. What needs to happen with these management companies or these slumlords, it's not just a bunch of slumlords. They're over glorified slumlords. What needs to happen in these situations, the tenants need to get together, not pay the rent, right? They should have some kind of attorneys. They should, the government or whoever, we need like subsidized attorneys, right? Because there needs to be some kind of legal action when the toilets are messed up and we call somebody to fix it. When there's a hole in the wall and we call somebody to fix it. When the door is broken, when the window is broken, when the stove is broken, when the fridge isn't working, and we're calling somebody to fix it, and then they don't come to fix it weeks at hand. We need to be able to say, okay, there's 30 days in the month. We called on January 1st. Let's say April, because there's 30 days in a month. So there's 30 days in a month. We called April 1st, not on the April Fool's joke. We called April 1st, and it took you guys 15 days to come and fix it. Well, 16 from April 1st, and on the 16th day, so April 16th, you guys decided to come and fix it. We need to be able to take that 15 days out of that prorated, and we keep that 15, because there's no reason why we shouldn't be with no hot water. We shouldn't be with no whatever, fridge, so on and so forth. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. A flood? What? This needs to, now the walls are going to be messed up. The tiles are going to be messed up. They're in danger of mold, probably have children. This is in she said they had to snake the tub. Like, come on, they could have snaked the tub themselves. Like, I'm calling you for a solution of the problem. Your solution is to bring somebody with the crack of their ass showing, putting a snake in the tub, and maybe the water goes down for a little bit, and then that's it. No. Take that money, don't pay the rent until this thing gets fully rectified. Give that money to an attorney, right? So they can put it in the escrow account. The entire building or the entire complex does that. They put it in the escrow account until these things get fixed. That's the only way these things are going to get fixed. And then when they try to evict you, you have your attorney that's going to represent you, right? We're either on a prorated rate or they're going to do a pro bono. They have the funds to do these things, right? They need to be held accountable. And they do this, and now it gets fixed. Judge, Your Honor, we plan on paying rent. If you check the history, 2 years, 5 years, 3 months, whatever, as long as I've been there, I've never been late. I've never skipped a month, anything like that. I've always been on time. I've always been responsible. However, they haven't held up their end of the bargain. The money that was supposed to be paid to them, I put in an escrow account until this gets fixed. However, I do believe I should be awarded some money in damages. This is crazy. This is crazy.
I was left with all the backed up sewage.
This is crazy.
The fix lasted a few hours until raw sewage started overflowing again around 8 later the same night.
It went under tenants' doors. It crossed through the elevators. The elevators were put out of service.
The maintenance workers' response the second time around 6 o'clock.
That's another thing. These elevators need to be like fixed. The elevators are always out in the projects. That needs to be fixed. They do it on their own time. They have the funds. They have it. These elevators need to be fixed. Just because people are paying below free market rent doesn't mean that they need to live like savages. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that you're on the 9th floor and you go grocery shopping, or you can't go grocery shopping because you live on the 9th floor. You live on the 38th floor. I'm gonna drag you with 38 floors, but you live on the high floor. The elevator doesn't work. It's been out of service for how long? And this is crazy. This is crazy. Like this needs to fix. This needs to fix.
The next morning left her bathroom nearly unrecognizable.
They broke the wall to the bathroom in the back of the toilet. They told me that they needed to break the pipe in order to drain it out. I asked what caused it. He says people use whatever they use and they flush it down the toilet.
And everything tenants above flushed ran through her apartment.
Disgusting. You know what that means, right? Whether it's drugs, whether it's tissue, whether it's urine, whether it's excretion, whether it's used condoms, everything in her apartment, she has a child. And they're walking through it. Crazy thing is, they're able to get the news in there to address this issue quicker than NYCHA. And there's always somebody, there's always a NYCHA there's always a NYCHA management on site. Like there's an office in every one of these complexes. Every one of them.
The smell was unbearable. Later on, I was told that there was asbestos in the back of the wall, and they patched it up with a plastic and duct tape and left.
They trying to kill him now. Asbestos, right? So now asbestos is this chemical that they used to use back in the days, right? And it's poisonous. So basically, what asbestos is, if you breathe it in, it's you'll see it in the nigga eyes like smoke, like a powder, but it's really like teeny tiny shards of glass. So when you breathe it in, it's like cutting your insides, it's cutting your lungs, it's cutting all your respiratory is all messed up when you breathe this stuff in. So now it's extremely dangerous, obviously, and extremely expensive to remove. So what most people do, they just leave it. Now, why do they leave it? Because as long as it's not messed with and it's dormant, it's safe. But once you start banging on walls and once you start cutting it and touching it, that's when it's like, oh my gosh, you know? So that's what's going on with that. So most people, they just leave. Now, duct tape is crazy. They don't care. They don't care, but they want their money. Whether it's from you, whether it's from the government, they want their money. They want their money. That's insane.
Ms. Castillo told us when she reached out to NYCHA representatives to respond to the issue she's...
Don't judge my hairline, please, because all right, so years ago I was a barber. I'm a certified barber, not licensed yet. I'm going to get my license just to complete it. You know, I feel like I never completed it. But I want to get my license. So I cut my own hair. I'm nice with it. I cut my own hair. And for whatever reason, when I was looking in the mirror, I was cutting. And it was like this piece that was just like down. And I'm like trying to get that. And then when it's finally straight, I look in the mirror. I violated. All right, so let's continue.
She's been having. She says the conditions are good enough for her to use the bathroom, to brush her teeth, and take a bath inside. NYCHA officials responded saying, quote, Ms. Castillo told us when she reached out to NYCHA representatives to respond to the issue she's been having. She says the conditions are good enough for her to use the bathroom, to brush her teeth, and take a bath inside. NYCHA.
You know what? Like, these conversations need to be recorded for quality assurance when they speak to somebody, and not maybe monitored. They definitely need to be recorded. So now there's proof. And now when we get the attorney that they have to pay for, right? Because when you sue somebody, whatever, you gotta have they pay for the attorney. This needs to be like put in a fund. Right, that some of that money needs to be allocated and put in the fund to help the residents, to help the tenants, because if they're living in NYCHA, obviously they can't afford an attorney, so they need basically one to be appointed for them or appointed to them, and the attorney doesn't work directly with NYCHA, but they're funded by NYCHA. So, like there might have to be like a program of the sort where I could say, So there might be attorneys that specialize in, representing tenants in NYCHA, and once we contact them, they have to pay. I'm just thinking about this on the fly. Once we contact them, they have to pay. Like the attorneys are basically guaranteed the money because there's a fund. There's a fund. So kind of like in mortgage, right? To get into the mortgage game, there's money that you have to put into a pot. I think it's like $10,000. That's one of the things you can do to put into a pot, and that's basically everybody has to do it. So there's a pot in mortgage, and I'm sure that that's also used for when people get sued. In real estate, it's not if you're going to get sued as when. If you win it for a long enough time and done enough business. So I guess I haven't been in enough time or done enough business. I haven't gotten sued yet. Hopefully I don't. Knock on wood. So this something like that of the sort needs to kind of be similar, like implemented similarly, because this is crazy, and I feel like they take advantage. They take advantage. If these conversations were recorded, you're still going to have some bad apples out there. Some lace fronts are going to get upset. Some eyelashes are definitely going to give attitude. It's just inherent. However, a lot of this stuff and unprofessionalism will go down because they know they're going to get held accountable. If we have an attorney, if we have representation, and now they have to pull those phone calls, because I called on Friday, November 11th at 8:47 a.m. and I spoke to Nicole and pull up those phone records. Oh, well, based off the pictures that I see that your email does, you should be able to use the bathroom. You should be able to take a shower. You should be able to brush your teeth. What?
Officials responded saying, quote, NYCHA staff are actively assisting the resident, addressing the repair, and following standard environmental protocols. Well, just as our crews were gearing up to leave the building, the tub and
I'm sorry, I got a text message. My bad, bro. No. Sure it works. I'm sorry, guys. I just got a quick text message. Let me run this back.
the resident, addressing the repair, and following standard environmental protocols. Well, just as our crews were gearing up to leave the building, the tub in her apartment began flooding again. We caught crews loading and unloading this bucket.
Imagine, right, being able to take a shower in this tub, and you take the shower, and then all of this sludge. Oh, boy.
Full of sewage to stop her tub from overflowing. Castillo doesn't think she's asking for much since she's done her.
You're not asking for anything. You're asking her to live in peace. Right? They want to say rest in peace. You asking to live in peace. This is crazy. You're not asking for anything. Do your job. Do your job. My tub is overflowing with other people's piss. Fix this today. Today. This is crazy. This is crazy. I'll make myself available, right? So you guys can come into the house between the hours of whatever. You need 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, whatever. I'll make myself available. If you cannot fix this, rehouse me. Put me and my family in the hotel at your expense. Put us in the hotel until this gets fixed. Simple. Simple. This is crazy. And I know y'all got the money.
Part to make her home feel like home. Now she needs the city to step up to provide a place until the repairs are made for good.
I just said that. Mom Donnie, where you at?
I don't even have words. Like, I call this completely negligence.
Kendall Green, Fox 5 News.
She's beautiful. She's beautiful. You could tell when she was younger, she was some work. I'm sorry that you're going through this. This is crazy. Listen, I know it's poles like blown out. The sun is like right there, and I'm using one of my older cameras, so I don't have like auto ISO and stuff like that, or whatever, to kind of fix that. So when the cloud hits the sun, I'll look better. Let me at least cut this off. Right? That did nothing. That did nothing. So I guess in conclusion, what can be done is, well, nothing. I kind of gave you guys what should be done, but this is crazy. And the fact that we have to live like this, like I did live in the projects for some time. I don't live there anymore. The fact that we have to deal with this stuff, right? This would not happen. This would not happen in other properties. So, for example, Two Trees, right? Two Trees is a big management company, and they do a lot of, I want to say, like higher end residential units, right? I believe they might have some condos as well too, whatever. But they're a management firm. Now they're able to rent top dollar, a lot of money, a whole lot of money. Why are they able to do that? I'm gonna like pull down the shade. This is like stressing me out. Why are they able to do that? Because they take care of their property. They take care of the buildings. Hold on, I'll be right back. Yeah, they take care of the property. They take care of the buildings. They kind of do everything that they're supposed to do. And there we go. There, you see that? Way better. Way better. Hold on. Let me do this. So this is actually what they call negative fill in the camera world. That's what they call negative fill in the camera world. Now I know I just took out a whole bunch of light, but listen, I'm sorry. That was like stressing me out. Yeah, I'm sorry that y'all going through that, but it needs to fix because. So I was saying about Two Trees. So Two Trees Management is a big firm. Now they spend a lot of money. I mean, it costs a lot of money to live in one of their properties, right? And where they manage. Now, however, it still kind of balances out. Why? Because I'm sure they still got to pay their mortgage, right? They don't own these buildings outright. They still have to pay their mortgage. They still have to pay their property taxes. They're still expense. And then their mortgage is a lot more. Like, let's say they're in Brooklyn Heights, Park Slope, or wherever, Williamsburg. Their mortgage is crazy compared to a Brownsville in East New York, or Crown Heights. So I don't really want to hear, and then those projects have been there for years. Two Trees, you don't see a bunch of projects popping up. Two Trees, you'll see a bunch of buildings popping up. So the funds are there. The funds are there. Listen, y'all heard what I said about it. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, and tell a friend. So you guys are going to do this. Later.